Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for hopping on for our Smart Snack Overview virtual training this afternoon. Before we get started, just a few things as always. This meeting is being recorded, so microphones and cameras are turned off. If you have a question throughout the training, feel free to drop your question in the chat or raise your hand using the feature at the top of your screen there. And before we get started, our disclaimer. So the state of Tennessee does not currently permit the use of AI tools like Otter in meetings hosted on state resources. So if we do see any of those AI tools, we are going to have to remove them from the meeting and block them as well. So please be sure that you have those turned off, but we will be clearing those out as the training goes on. Following the training, you will receive a follow-up email with your professional standards information, the recording, and a copy of the materials. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to our presenter today, Ms. Jennifer Smart.
Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today to discuss Smart Snacks. I'm really glad that you're here. I am Jennifer Smart. I'm the Mid-Cumberland West Regional Nutrition Consultant. And today, to get started, we're going to go over the mission statement, which is to develop extraordinary school nutrition professionals and provide strategies to increase consumption of healthy school meals. For the agenda today, we are going to talk about what Smart Snacks are, the Smart Snack standards for foods and beverages, fundraisers, administrative reviews, and resources. So, what are Smart Snacks? Competitive foods, also known as Smart Snacks, are foods and beverages that are available for sale outside of the federally reimbursable school meal during the school day. The school day is defined as a period from midnight to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. So an example would be if the school ends at 3:30, the school day would be from midnight to 4 p.m. Just a second. Computer just froze, I'm sorry. Here we go. Smart snacks are important because almost a quarter of kids' daily calories come from snacks. Kids who have healthy eating patterns are more likely to perform better academically. Kids who consume more healthy foods and beverages during the school day, when smart snacks are available, it's easier to make a healthy choice. And then smart snack standards are a federal requirement for all foods sold outside the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program. Smart snacks can be sold in the cafeteria, vending machines, concession stands, and school stores. The Smart Snack standards apply only to locations on the school campus that are accessible to students. So this does not include places like teachers' lounges, although you may choose to sell healthy snacks in there too. It'd be a great idea. Let's talk about Smart Snack standards for foods. To qualify as a smart snack, the standards for calories, sodium, fats, and total sugars must be met. They must also be a grain product that contains 50% or more whole grains by weight or has the first ingredient as a whole grain. Or the first ingredient must be one of the major non-grain food groups, such as fruits, vegetables, dairy, or protein foods. Lastly, it can be a combination food that contains 1/4 cup fruit and or vegetables. Here you can see the Smart Snack nutrient standard for snacks and entrees. There's a slight increase in calories and sodium for the entree items. Food exempt from Smart Snack requirements. Breakfast and lunch or entrees exempt from the competitive food standards if offered a la carte on the day they are menued for the next school day. A la carte items are individual items sold outside of the school meal. Entree items that are whole grain rich and enriched grain may be sold as smart snacks. Sometimes schools serve extra entrees from school meals as a la carte items. These entrees do not have to meet Smart Snack standards when they are sold as an a la carte item up to one day after being served at school lunch or breakfast. So, for example, if a bean burrito is served at lunch on Wednesday, it may also be sold as a Smart Snack Wednesday and Thursday without needing to meet Smart Snack standards. Some schools also serve school meal side dishes as a la carte items. These side dishes must always meet Smart Snack standards. When you're checking to see if your snacks meet the standards, be sure to consider how it is packaged and sold, including all accompaniments. For example, if butter is added to popcorn or ranch dressing is offered along with veggies, you want to be sure to count the nutrition information for these condiments when determining if your snack meets the standards. Some foods and combination of foods that are exempt from specific nutrition standards are fresh fruits and vegetables and frozen fruits and vegetables with no added ingredients except water. Canned fruit packed in 100% juice or light syrup with no added ingredients except water. And canned vegetables with no added fats, no salt added, or low sodium. Foods that are exempt from Smart Snacks total fat and saturated fat requirements are reduced fat cheese, including part skim mozzarella, nuts, seeds, or nut seed butters, apple with reduced fat cheese, celery with peanut butter and unsweetened raisins, whole eggs with no added fat. And remember that paired exemptions are always required to meet the calorie and sodium limits. Foods that are exempt from the total fat standard would be items such as seafood with no added fat, so canned tuna packed in water, and new from the final rule, bean dip, such as hummus, as well as other dips made with beans, peas, and or lentils. Foods that are exempt from the total fat, saturated fat, and sugar standards are dried fruits with no added sugars, dried cranberries, tart cherries, or blueberries, sweetened only for processing and or palatability with no added fats, and trail mix of only dried fruits, nuts, and or seeds with no added sugars or fats. So what are the Smart Snack standards for beverages? Let's look at the type of beverages. You have plain water with or without carbonation, milk that is flavored fat-free, unflavored, or flavored low-fat and milk alternatives, juice 100% fruit or vegetable juice with or without carbonation, diluted juice is 100% fruit or vegetable juice diluted with water with or without carbonation and no added sweeteners, low-calorie beverages with caffeine for high school only, or without caffeine and or carbonation, and no calorie beverages with caffeine for high school only, or without caffeine and or carbonation. So elementary standards for beverages, there is no limit for water across all grade groups. For elementary, milk is 8 ounces, juice is 8 ounces, diluted juice is 8 ounces. For middle school standards for beverages, again, no water limit. Milk is 12 ounces, juice is 12 ounces, and diluted juice is 12 ounces. Beverages sold to elementary and middle school age students must be caffeine free, with the exception of naturally occurring substances. Decaffeinated products are allowed in the middle schools. Food and beverages available to high school students may contain caffeine. High school standards for beverages, again, no limit for water, milk 12 ounces, juice 12 ounces, diluted juice 12 ounces, and then you have low calorie, which is 40 calories per 8 ounces or 60 calories per 12 ounces, and no calorie, which is 10 calories per 20 fluid ounces. How do the Smart Snack standards affect fundraisers? A special exemption is allowed for the sale of food and beverages that do not meet the Smart Snack standards for a school-sponsored fundraiser. In Tennessee, foods or beverage that do not meet the Smart Snack nutrition standards may be sold as fundraisers no more than 20 days per semester per school. LEAs may set special exemption for infrequent school-sponsored fundraisers that sell food and beverage that do not meet the Smart Snack standards. The school principal or assigned designee is responsible for ensuring that the 20-day per semester limit is not exceeded and that proper documentation is retained. No specially exempt fundraiser, food, or beverage may be sold in competition with school meals in the food service area during meal service. And fundraising activities that occur during non-school hours on weekends or at off-campus events do not have to meet the Smart Snack requirements. So how does this affect the local school wellness policy? The local school wellness policy should address the standards and guidelines for all food and beverages sold to the students on the campus during the school day. These guidelines must be consistent with the federal guidelines for school meal nutrition standards and the Smart Snacks in school standards. The local wellness policy can be more restrictive than the guidelines, but cannot be less restrictive than the guidelines. So how do administrative reviews play into this? All foods and beverages sold to students during the school day must meet Smart Snack regulations. To evaluate compliance, the state agency will review a minimum of 10% of foods and beverages that are sold as Smart Snacks, ensure LEAs are abiding by state-set exempt fundraiser rules. Via interview, the state agency will ensure district staff, such as principals or other administrative designees and school nutrition staff, understand the scope of food and beverage sales available to students that meet Smart Snack requirements and the exempted fundraiser allowance. During school year 24-25, we had 9 findings related to this module. An example finding is observed Smart Snacks sold during the school day do not meet Smart Snack standards, and the corrective action for this was to demonstrate how all Smart Snacks sold meet compliance by removing chili cheese Fritos from the a la carte sale rack. Upload images of the items sold. So let's do a skill check with real life scenarios that could happen pertaining to Smart Snacks. Feel free to write your answer in the chat box if you would like. We are going to decide if these are allowable or not allowable. The lunch menu has mini corn dogs on Wednesday, which are not Smart Snack compliant. The mini corn dogs are being sold a la carte on Friday. Is this allowable? I'll give you a few seconds in case you want to type it in. No. The mini corn dogs would either have to be Smart Snacks compliant or could only be sold a la carte on Wednesday and Thursday. Remember, entree can only be sold a la carte on the day of or the day after it is on the menu. Okay, good job. Next one. A student organization at the school is selling candy bars, slushies, and sodas in the cafeteria during lunch. Is this allowable? Y'all are good. No, it is not allowable. Specially exempted fundraiser foods and beverages cannot be sold in the food service area during meal service. ABC Elementary only used 10 days of specially exempted fundraisers during the fall semester. So the school will have 30 days of specially exempted fundraisers in the spring. Is this allowable? No, you'll have already started answering that one. You're right. Good job. No, specially exempted fundraisers are limited to 20 days per semester, and they may not be carried over if they are not used within the first semester. And this is the last one. I'm sorry, computer's froze again. These are both Goldfish Cheddar Cracker ingredients list. Based on the ingredients list, which one is Smart Snack compliant, the first or the second? It's the first ingredient list. Notice The first two ingredients are whole wheat flour and unbleached enriched wheat flour. Remember earlier in the presentation, we discussed that grain product contains 50% or more whole grains by weight or has the first ingredient as a whole grain. The second ingredient list starts with enriched wheat flour, so it would not be allowable. Okay, and resources. If you're not sure whether a food or beverage is Smart Snack compliant, here are some resources that could help. Of course, our SMP webpage is a great source for resources. Under operational requirements there, you will find Smart Snacks and school information. You can also go to Food and Nutrition Service, Smart Snacks and Schools Resources page. They also have a guide there that you can look at and download. It's a guide to Smart Snacks. This is waiting for a revised copy to be published from FNS. And the State Board of Education fundraiser rules, you can find it there. And lastly, the Alliance for a Healthier Generation Smart Snack Calculator. And most districts that I have been to use that, and it's a great tool to have. So it was short and sweet, but that is our last slide for Smart Snacks. If you don't mind to take the to scan the QR code and answer the questions there. And also Lexi will be putting it into the chat. But I really appreciate you guys joining me today. I hope that you learned something about Smart Snacks. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. Thank you so much.
I'll give everybody just one more minute in case anybody wants to drop a question in the chat. If not, we really do appreciate you joining us. And thank you, Jennifer, for being a lovely presenter this afternoon. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon.